and I'm out there listening to this gentle rain outside, which just sounds beautiful. So I hope this finds you really well. And today's kind of a fun one. Yeah, it's just fun to think about this beautiful line. And the line we're looking at in John is actually a very significant line to me personally. My dad gave me a Bible in sixth grade, and in the front, he inscribed the quote we're going to be looking at today, which is from John chapter 8, verse 32. And here's the quote. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. It's a beautiful line. And that idea of Jesus, yesterday we talked about what he was talking about in terms of living in the word, like in the story, in this new story. And here's this line about yeah, and you'll know this truth, and the truth will make you free. And so much of spiritual life, right, is about this sense of freedom. It certainly isn't fun feeling enslaved by our angers, our worries, our concerns, our fears. And that's not really the life that God has intended for us, intended us to be free. And I want to come at this a little bit elliptically. Like, so here's this idea: know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, for a lot of people, they can weaponize truth very quickly. So the way they say that is that you must believe my truth, and then you will be free. And it sort of is this idea of the frozen chosen, that we're a church is just like this body of this hardcore group who gets it. No one else does. And you got to believe my truth, and then you'll find freedom. But of course, it'll be my version of freedom, not necessarily yours. And that can lead you down a slippery slope. I think that can lead all of us down a slippery slope. So I want to come at it a little bit differently, just to understand how this can work and how we can have a much more life-giving view of what these truths are. So I'll just take, for example, one that's near and dear to all of our hearts and so incredibly important: the concept of forgiveness. So, backing up a little bit with forgiveness, Martin Luther King had this beautiful, beautiful phrase. He said, "The arc of the moral universe bends towards justice." And I love that idea that God's plan is always bending towards justice. We don't arrive at it today. We're not going to arrive at it tomorrow. We're not going to arrive at it next week. But we know that it's bending that direction. Now, how does forgiveness deal with that? Well, here's I think a biblical view of forgiveness, one from the New Testament that can be very life-giving and very freeing. There's one view of forgiveness that is very much like, you have been a personal affront to me, you've hurt me in some way, so I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to decide to forgive you. And it's almost a little bit like a presidential pardon, that we're the ones who are totally faultless, and we have decided to pardon the evildoer. Now, are there times when we are totally faultless and hurt by other people for no good reason? Absolutely, absolutely there are. But most of the time, most of our run-of-the-mill interactions with people, we at least have a little bit of responsibility in however things have gone south. So that's one form of forgiveness. And then there's another form of forgiveness that I think that Jesus is pointing us to, and that's forgiveness that moves to peacemaking. Now, what does that mean? Well, if there is this arc of the moral universe that bends towards justice, forgiveness means that I'm going to forgive other people because I know that in the bigger picture of life, that's what's necessary to move communities forward. That is what best serves the common good, what best helps all of us to continue to move forward. That's super significant. I think that's why Jesus, one of his most famous lines at Easter from the cross was forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, that's a forgiveness. Yeah, obviously it's like a personal affront there, but it's not a defensive statement at all. So obviously there's a forgiveness there, and it's a forgiveness that's in this attempt to move towards a higher order, towards a common good, to reorient all of us in a very different way. That kind of freedom, that kind of freedom that kind of forgiveness leads to a very unique kind of freedom. If I'm forgiving from, like, if my ego's totally in charge, I'm not talking those rare cases where really somebody's totally done something wrong and I had nothing to do with. I'm talking about ones where I've got culpability as well. If I am constantly playing that game of, like, well, I'm the arbiter, you have hurt my feelings, So you need to forgive me, and then I will decide whether to forgive you. That creates a racket. We're really never free because do you do you want to be I don't know, like it's weird. I feel like we're still carrying around the hurt in some way. Just we have decided that we are the bigger person and we're going to forgive it. I think there's just bigger forms of forgiveness we have to constantly be leaning into. And those bigger forms are the ones that actually help the common good. And they get us to that beautiful line in the Beatitudes. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will inherit the earth. Um, that peacemaking bit, like that is so reliant on forgiveness, and that's the world I think we're supposed to be living in. So friends, that's my thought for today. It's just, yeah, just think about that. Okay, truth, know the truth will make you free. What is that freedom? How could that maybe connect to forgiveness for you? I feel like it could almost be a church series. I'll probably be turning it into one at some point in time because it's just some interesting thoughts there. But stuff to just think about and consider and ponder. So that's my thought, folks. Think about the truth, think about freedom, and think about how it all connects in with forgiveness and new forms of forgiveness. So, with that, before we get into our little meditation here today, I also wanted to say we have really like our 7 o'clock group is full, but we do have space in our 8:30 group. If anybody is interested in that, that meets tonight, 8:30 on Zoom. We could fit one or two other people in there. You're more than welcome to join myself and our co-leader from out in Colorado. Marcia, you're also welcome to join a small group on Wednesday with Reverend Nathan Gladish as well. That's at 7 p.m. So feel free. It's been great seeing these groups fill up, and it's gonna be a ton of fun, my friends. So with that, let's do our little meditation here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ring a bell, do a little breathing, and we'll do a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll do a little conversation part here at the end where we'll say hi to folks online. So with that, friends, let's all get a big breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you peace and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends. What we're going to do now is wishing you all the very best. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do our little conversation bit. We figured out how to do this yesterday, which was sort of super, super exciting. And let me see. Yes, and what we're going to do is I want to just read through saying hi to the people who are joining us this morning. So, Marcus, good morning to you. Always great to see you, my friend. And yeah, if your ears were ringing yesterday, it was for good reason. Patricia, great to see you. And that ever present heart is just good stuff. Tori writes, good morning from Lowe's. Tori, I know exactly where that Lowe's is. Good morning to you as well. Marianne, good morning to you, my dear friend. Uh, yeah, Susan, I've thought about that with forgiveness. It's we do it like about every 3 or 4 years, and it always ends up being some of our most popular series. And there's just a lot. There's a lot to think about there, and a lot to do. Yeah, Mary writes, justice is not to be confused with vengeance. It's not. Thin place. Open my eyes. Yeah, it's so easy to flip into the vengeance part of things, and that's just not it. I was reading something somebody wrote, and they said, without God, that's sort of what we're left with. Um, Nathan writes, excellent points. Well, thank you, Nathan. And Nathan, by the way, being right on there, if any of you do want to join his group again on Wednesday night at 7 p.m., I'm sure you could just reply directly to my dear friend and wonderful buddy, Nathan, right there. Teresa, great to see you, my friend, this morning. And yeah, those are all our comments. So wishing you folks all the very best. And just so you know, we're now streaming onto 4 different platforms. We 2 on Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and they're trying to figure out a way to do it on Instagram. It's all kinds of stuff that's way above my pay grade. So the people on the team are helping out with that. So pretty cool stuff. Little different world. So for some of you, you may notice that where is everybody? Well, most of the comments are on the New Church Live Facebook page. So if you're on my Facebook page or Vimeo, you won't necessarily, or YouTube, you may not see any comments at all. Because that's where most of the people are doing the chat. So just heads up for that. And yeah, and wishing you folks all the very best, all the very best. God bless. Have a great day. Thinking about how those 2 things, know the truth shall make you free. What's the truth that makes us free? It's about the need to forgive and the unique freedom that comes from that. So hopefully you have a nice forgiving day, folks. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.